The Red and White Army. Listen up, because what's happening at the City Ground right now isn't just a story about football. It's a story about survival, redemption, and one man who's been brought in to save a sinking ship. 3 weeks ago, Nottingham Forest was an absolute mess. A manager lasted 39 days, 39, before getting the axe. The team was losing, the confidence was gone, and the fans were questioning everything. But then Sean Dyche arrived, and suddenly, something shifted. Today, we're uncovering 3 massive stories that could change everything for Forest. Stories about what it takes to turn a crisis into a comeback. Stories about the legend who's been brought in to fix the problems. And stories about the young talents who could lead Forest back to where they belong, competing at the top of English football. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Dyche is demanding more from his players, why he's taking no prisoners despite the recent improvements, and why this Brazilian striker might just be the missing piece that saves the entire season. So stick with us, because the next 10 minutes, they're going to show you that Nottingham Forest isn't finished. Not by a long shot. This is the story of resurrection. This is the story of Nottingham Forest fighting back. Like this video if you believe in the comeback. Comment below, what do you think Dyche needs to fix first at Forest? And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got more Forest news coming your way every single week. Now, let's get into it. The clock is ticking, because just 3 weeks ago, Nottingham Forest was an absolute freefall. The manager couldn't get a win. The team couldn't find confidence. The pressure was crushing everything in its path. The fans were questioning. The board was panicking. And the future? Well, the future looked terrifyingly uncertain. Then Sean Dyche walked through the door. Now, Dyche isn't some flashy name. He's not the kind of manager you see splashed across social media with crazy tactics or controversial press conferences. He's a manager who knows one thing better than almost anyone else in football: how to keep a team in the Premier League when everything is falling apart. He's done it before. He did it at Burnley. He did it at Everton. He's a survival specialist. And now, he's been brought to the City Ground to do it again for Nottingham Forest. But here's the thing, and this is crucial: Dyche isn't satisfied. Not even close. Not even after the improvements. After the 2-2 draw with Manchester United on the 1st of November. After the victories in Europe. After the slight upturn in results that had brought a tiny glimmer of hope back to the fan base. Dyche stood in front of the cameras and demanded more. He looked his squad in the eye and said, "This isn't good enough. You're capable of better than this, and we're going to get there together. But we have to work harder." See, Dyche replaced Ange Postecoglou, a manager who lasted just 39 days at Forest. Postecoglou won the Europa League with Tottenham the season before. He had pedigree. He had experience. He had credentials. But at Nottingham Forest, he couldn't win a single match. 5 points from 8 games. That's catastrophic. That's relegation form. That's unacceptable for any Premier League club, let alone one with ambitions like Forest. So Dyche came in, steadied the ship, and started getting results. A draw against Manchester United. At Old Trafford they were losing, and they came back. That's character. That's resilience. That's what a new manager brings: structure, discipline, belief. But Dyche knows it's not enough to just draw. It's not enough to just grab points here and there. If Forest are going to survive this season, if they're going to challenge, if they're going to actually compete, they need to win games. They need consistency. They need to tighten up at the back, because right now, they're conceding set-piece goals like they're going out of fashion. So what does Dyche do? He demands more. He's not satisfied with moral victories. He's not satisfied with draws. He's not satisfied with Europa League wins if the Premier League form stays poor. He's demanding progression, improvement, intensity. He's demanding that his players understand the severity of the situation and respond accordingly. And that's exactly what Forest need right now. Not comfort. Not excuses or demands. Standards. Accountability. Because if Dyche can replicate what he did at Burnley, where he took them from the Championship and kept them in the Premier League for multiple seasons, then Nottingham Forest have a genuine chance of not just surviving, but thriving. So the message is clear. Sean Dyche has arrived. He's steadied the ship. He's earned respect. But he's demanding more, and the question now becomes, will the players deliver? It's coming. And Forest fans know it's coming, because when Manchester United want something, Manchester United usually get it. The speculation started quietly. But then the reports started growing, louder and louder. Until this week, when the news broke, Manchester United are preparing a January transfer bid for Nottingham Forest young English midfielder Elliot Anderson. Now, on the surface, this might sound like just another transfer rumor, just another big club sniffing around a talented young player. But this isn't just any transfer rumor. This is about one of Forest's brightest talents. This is about a player who, when he's fit and focused, is genuinely one of the most exciting young midfielders in the entire Premier League. This is about a 22-year-old who represents the future, Elliot Anderson. Remember the name, because you're going to be hearing it an awful lot over the next few months. The kid can do everything. He's got energy, drive, technical ability, and a work rate that's absolutely relentless. He's the kind of midfielder that every top club in Europe is watching closely. And clearly, Ruben Amorim, the new Manchester United manager, is watching very, very closely indeed. Amorim has been impressed. Not just impressed. He's impressed enough that United are preparing an actual, concrete bid for January. That's not interest. That's not idle curiosity. That's intent. That's a club saying, we want this player, and we're ready to pay for him. But here's where it gets complicated. Here's where Forest fans start to get nervous. Manchester United believe they can get Anderson for around £60 million. Nottingham Forest? They're demanding £80 million. That's a £20 million gap. That's significant. That's the kind of gap that separates a deal from a non-deal. Now, from a Forest perspective, this is actually good news. Anderson is valuable. Anderson is wanted by one of the biggest clubs in English football. Anderson is a player who's got genuine international pedigree and genuine top-level potential. The fact that United are willing to bid £60 million tells you everything you need to know about his quality. But from a Forest perspective, this is also a potential problem. Because if Anderson pushes for the move, if he tells the club he wants to go to Manchester, if he starts making noise behind the scenes, then Forest's negotiating position becomes much weaker. And here's the real kicker. Anderson himself is keen on the move. He's interested. He sees Manchester United as a genuine opportunity to take his career to the next level. And you can't blame him. You genuinely cannot blame a 22-year-old for being interested in playing at Old Trafford. So what does Sean Dyche do? Because this is Dyche's first real test as Forest manager. This is where he finds out if he can hold on to his best players. Because losing Anderson would be a massive blow. It would be destabilizing. It would undermine everything Dyche is trying to build. The negotiation will be brutal. United will push. Forest will resist. Anderson will wait. And Dyche will be caught in the middle, trying to keep everything together, while his best midfielder is being courted by one of England's biggest clubs. But here's the thing. Forest need Anderson. They need his energy. They need his drive. They need everything he brings to the midfield. If he leaves, they're weaker. And right now, at the bottom of the table, fighting for survival, Forest cannot afford to be weaker. So January 2026 is going to be crucial, not just for Forest, but for Elliot Anderson's entire career trajectory. Because where he goes next will define him as a player. Let's talk about the Brazilian. Because in the midst of all the chaos, all the managerial changes, all the Premier League struggles, there's been one bright light. One player who's come to Nottingham Forest and actually shown up, actually delivered, actually been exactly what this team needed. Igor Jesus, the striker from Botafogo, the player who arrived during the summer transfer window when everything at the club was uncertain, when nobody really knew if Forest were going up or going down, when the project felt like it was teetering on the edge. And Igor Jesus has been that player. He's been the difference. Because here's what happened. Forest brought in multiple strikers. They brought in Arnaud Calamuendo from Rennes. They brought in Chris Wood from Brighton. They brought in Igor Jesus from Botafogo. They essentially said, we need attacking firepower, and we're going to get it. Multiple options, multiple threats, multiple ways to hurt the opposition. But among all those signings, Igor Jesus has been the one who's actually stepped up. Who's actually delivered when it matters. Who's actually shown that he belongs at this level. In the Europa League, he's got 3 goals already. 3. For a player who's new to English football, new to European competition at this level, new to the intensity and the physicality of playing in the Premier League. 3 goals in the Europa League is significant. It's meaningful. It's the kind of return that suggests he's settling in, that he's getting more confident, that he's understanding how to be effective in this league. And it's not just about the goals, either. It's about how he's playing, the movement, the positioning, the way he reads the game, the way he links up with teammates. These aren't skills you pick up overnight when you're adjusting to a new league, a new country, a new style of football. Igor Jesus is playing well. He's genuinely playing well, which, for Nottingham Forest, is huge. Because if they're going to survive, if they're going to climb the table, if they're going to do anything other than just accept relegation as inevitable, they need their attackers to score goals. They need their strikers to be a genuine threat. They need Igor Jesus to keep delivering. Right now, he is. Right now, Forest have found their attacking weapon. Right now, Igor Jesus is proving that the investment in him was worth it. But here's the question that hangs over everything. Is 3 goals in Europe enough? Is that going to translate to the Premier League? Because that's where it really matters. That's where Forest need him. That's where the points come from. The draw against Manchester United showed promise. Forest were competitive. They were in the game. They were causing problems. But they didn't win. And in the Premier League, when you're fighting for survival, you need to be winning matches. You need to be accumulating points. You need to be climbing that table. So Igor Jesus has been a breath of fresh air. He's given Forest hope. He's given them a focal point for their attack. He's shown that investing in attacking talent can pay dividends. But the real test, the real proof of his value, that's going to come in the next few weeks, when Forest are playing in the Premier League, when they're facing top 6 teams, when they're in crucial matches where they absolutely have to perform. That's when Igor Jesus proves whether he's a genuine solution, or just a prospect who's doing well in the Europa League before fading away in the Premier League. The Brazilian has arrived. The Brazilian has scored. The Brazilian has shown promise. Now, he needs to deliver where it matters most. Because if Igor Jesus can replicate his Europa League form in the Premier League, then Nottingham Forest might just have the attacking firepower they need to stay up. And that changes everything. So there you have it. 3 stories, 1 moment, 1 decision point for Nottingham Forest. Sean Dyche has arrived, and he's demanding more. He's not satisfied with draws and moral victories. He's demanding his team step up, tighten up, and start winning football matches, because that's what survival looks like in the Premier League. Not participation, not just showing up, winning. Manchester United are coming for Elliot Anderson, and Forest are going to have to decide, do we hold on to our future, or do we cash in and use that money to rebuild? It's the kind of decision that defines a club's direction for years to come, and Igor Jesus is emerging as the attacking solution that Nottingham Forest desperately needed. 3 goals in Europe, growing confidence, the kind of threat that could be the difference between relegation and survival. 3 stories, 3 pressures, 1 team, 1 city, 1 chance, because here's what we know, Nottingham Forest are at a crossroads. They've got a manager who knows how to build from crisis. They've got young talent that's being hunted by bigger clubs, and they've got an attacking talent who's starting to show what he's capable of, but crossroads mean you have to choose. Will Dyche build something lasting at Forest? Will Anderson stay and become the cornerstone of the midfield, or will he leave for Manchester? Will Igor Jesus continue his European form and carry it into the Premier League, or will the intensity of the English top flight overwhelm him? The next few months are going to define this entire season. Every decision matters. Every match matters. Every individual performance matters. So here's what we need from you. Do you think Sean Dyche can turn Forest around? Do you believe Elliot Anderson should stay at the City Ground, or is it time for him to seek a bigger stage? And can Igor Jesus be the attacking leader who guides Forest to survival and beyond? Comment below. Let's have the conversation. Because Nottingham Forest fans deserve to know that people are watching, people are believing, people are engaged with what's happening at the club. And if you enjoyed this video, if these 3 stories grab you, if you want to know what happens next in this absolutely crucial season for Nottingham Forest, then like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Because we've got more videos coming, more analysis, more insights into the biggest stories in football. This is just the beginning. The real battles are coming. Dyche versus the relegation fight. Anderson versus Manchester United's millions. Jesus versus the Premier League's elite defenders. Nottingham Forest is fighting. And we're watching every second of it. See you next time. Red and White Army, stay strong. Because the comeback starts now.